your hand, won't let you slip away. Together we stand, together we grow. We found
Are you enjoying?
Yes.
Don't get bored. Homeopathy is very long. We have to be patient. Now we have got a special speaker of the day. Special. All the way from Serbia. Dr. Mirjana Zivanov. Please come. Sorry, madam. We are running late. Because we have got a big feeling for discussion and sharing information of homeopathy. All the way. So you have got about 25 minutes. Because after there is a Gita book done, last one.
Okay, then I have been in daily homeopathic practice for 20 years, and today I will share with you my discovery of the spiritual quality after the Simillimum. What lies beyond the personal code? How to reach the true essence of being through the code. Decoding the Simillium. Every remedy carries a code, the deepest essence of its being. The Simillimum is not only the best matching remedy, but the mirror of the patient's deepest code. Each code reflects a polarity, a pair of opposites charged with emotional energy. Healing beings when the code is revealed and integrated. Through the Simillimum, the hidden essence of the soul becomes visible. Decoding the Simillimum. Through 2 decades of walking with thousands of souls, through pain, suffering, polarities, codes, truths, and silences, the space slowly opened within me. A space that was neither knowledge nor technique, a space that had no name. All the fields I explored, yoga, Ayurveda, homeopathy, subconscious work, energy psychology, spiritual technologies, all led to the same place, inner silence. Birth of spiritual quality. In that silence, something unexpected began to happen. Something that had no shape, no emotion, no thought. Something that didn't come from the outside, nor from the mind, but as a quiet ray from the very heart of existence. It was the first encounter with what I would later recognize and name spiritual quality. Decoding the Simillimum. We know that the Simillimum is one of the remedy that resonates with the deepest state of the patient. I have found that this state reveals itself as a pair of opposites. When these opposites are integrated, a new level appears, which I call a spiritual quality. Case example. A patient whose Simillimum was urgent and magical experienced the integration of the opposites from the code of this remedy, peace, restlessness. After some time, the person began to radiate their spiritual quality, which manifested as watchfulness. Beyond silence. Those of you who have integrated the polarities arrived at silence. And in that silence felt that there is something more. Something deeper, broader, quieter than silence itself. That something is not the end of the journey. It is the place where life truly begins. The radiance before memory. Before the soul became a name. Before experiences shaped the story. Before hands touched the world, there was radiance. Not light, not darkness, but radiance without a source, with no witness yet all pervading. That radiance withdrew when we passed through the gate of coding, and when the gate closed, we began to forget. When we forgot, when the 2 cylinders of polarity closed behind us, when we forgot we were whole, we began to search. We We search through loves and loses, triumphs and failures, through knowledge and forgetfulness. And then, weary from the search, we sit down in silence. When all else has quieted, in that silence, where nothing matters anymore, where all is integrated, released, and cared for, that radiance returns, not as memory, not as thought, but as spiritual quality, what remains when all else has quieted. Welcome, not to the beginning of the path, but to the place from which the path truly begins. How practice led to the discovery of the spiritual quality. Through years of listening, observing, and accompanying patients on their healing journeys, a pattern began to reveal itself. Behind symptoms, behind emotions, behind the surface stories, there was always a polarity. By integrating these opposites, patients were not only healing, but entering into a state beyond healing. That state, subtle, luminous, and constant, is what I came to call the spiritual quality. My realization of the spiritual quality. The realization of the spiritual quality emerged as the fruit of more than 20 years of daily, dedicated work with patients. Through consistent case-taking, I faced both success and failure with courage, always driven by the same aspiration, to deepen my knowledge and uncover deeper truths about the healing process. Once, along that long journey, one truth became clear to me. When a person integrates the polarities with a personal code, a state arises in which inner division no longer exists. The person feels that all is one. There are no more words to describe that experience. Only silence, oneness, and peace remain. That is the truth. The emergence of a new presence. But as I continued to follow my patients over the years, as well as my own inner process, I began to observe something new emerging. People didn't remain in absolute silence. A new state began to rise from within, a new quality, a new presence. Asking the essential question, observing this phenomenon, I gave myself the task of recognizing and defining it clearly. In therapy sessions, I began asking a simple question. If now it is no longer this polarity nor the other, what is it? Beyond ego, beyond thought. Unexpectedly, patients responded spontaneously, quickly, and without thinking, naming this new state with a single, simple, pure quality. After receiving this confirmation, in case after case, I understood. This new state is not the result of thought. It is not the construct of the ego. A new, natural state, spiritual quality. It is a new, natural state of being that arises after the integration of the personal code. The spiritual quality is what remains when the personal code dissolves. It is born only when there is no longer any inner division. The discovery of the spiritual quality revealed integration is not the end, it is the beginning of a new state. The discovery of the spiritual quality is a turning point. Why the discovery of the spiritual quality is a turning point? Because it revealed that integration of polarities is not the final step. Something new rises afterward. Because it showed that silence and oneness transform into a living presence. Because it introduced the concept of a new natural state of being, the spiritual quality. Because it opened the door to a deeper understanding of healing and transformation. The path of Master Hahnemann. And of course, there is the most gentle and elegant path for us, the one our Master Hahnemann led spontaneous integration of polarities when the patient receives their sole remedy, the Simillimum. The depth of change after the Simillimum. The depth of change depends on the individual's spiritual maturity. Some will experience the state of the spiritual quality only briefly, others longer, and some for their entire life. But even a short moment in this state leaves a person forever transformed. For a long time, no answer. Yet one question always returned. What lies beyond the personal code? What comes after that? For a long time, there was no answer. Discovery of the question that initiates the spiritual quality. It is neither one opposite nor the other. What is it? I asked myself this question and received the answer. Watchfulness. Then I applied it with others, and it proved to work in practice. Ancient knowledge from the subconscious. From my subconscious arose the ancient knowledge of the Slavic antithesis that shaped this question. This is how the discovery came to me, first as an inner insight and later confirmed through practice. A question that awakens awareness. This question first cleans away the accepted fact, then it opens a new clear space, from which a higher awareness can be born, an insight into a new state of consciousness. Slavic's antithesis, the power double negation. It is very important to ask the question through double negation, for this structure creates tension, drama, and inner reversal. Like the Slavic antithesis, deeply rooted in our spiritual and literary tradition. It doesn't describe directly, it unveils through denial. Not this, not that. The spiritual quality in practice. In my practice with the matrix method, I have observed that the deepest transformation occurs when the opposites within the patient are recognized and integrated. Each remedy carries a code, a polarity of two opposite states. And when these opposites are integrated, something new appears. The spiritual quality in the patient's work. This new state is not given by the homeopathy, but named by the patient in their own words. I call this emergence the spiritual quality. The true depth of homeopathic healing. This is the true depth of homeopathic healing. Not only the disappearance of physical suffering, but the awakening of a new spiritual quality that reshapes the patient's entire life. Thank you for your attention. I hope that you managed to do the further experience. More about the discovery you will find in my book available on Amazon. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, we are running late. And we really enjoyed.
Let you slip away. Together we stand, together we grow. We found our path, where the light always shines. Together we stand.
And there one more. Thank you, Doctor. Oh, my very favorite. Who? Tell me who? Mirjana Zivanov. She is my favorite. Very passionate and